Some of y'all not gonna like this one either, but hey, if it's offensive, then it's just gonna have to be. I didn't like it either when my spirit team called me to the side and called me out for being a spiritual perfectionist. The reason why we need to embrace our unclean, beastly side is it's a part of shadow integration. You have to accept all parts of you to truly say that you love thyself, right? I'm remembering a time, now y'all really not gonna like this, but hey, here we go. I hadn't eaten pork for over 10 years. I was so gung-ho about not eating no pork. I didn't even eat anything that touched a pot that had been cooked with pork. I was very serious about not eating pork for many, many years. And I thought that, even in Leviticus, it tells us that, the pig is an unclean animal, right? But there is one day I remember very vividly, my spirit team, they like to put taste in my mouth, especially when I need something that my body is craving. And y'all, I hadn't eaten pork for 10 years, over 10 years. And they kept putting it in my mouth to taste the bacon. And I had gotten to the point where I'm like, listen, y'all gonna go to the emergency room with me when I eat this? Cause y'all keep putting this taste in my mouth and I haven't had no bacon in years, okay? I'm like, I was afraid, but I know when my spirit team tells me to do something, I better listen. So I listened. I put some bacon in the oven and I looked at that pan for about 10 minutes. I remember it vividly, and I enjoyed it, and it actually made me feel better. At the time, I was pretty miserable. I'm just gonna be honest. I was going through a dark relationship. It was a domestic violence type of relationship. But this bacon it grounded me and it brought me a sense of wholeness, honestly. And I did not expect that. And now looking back, I know that was I'm thinking of the term hormesis, when you invite a small level of a toxin into the body and it triggers the body into actually building up the mechanisms sufficient enough to combat this toxin. So my whole point in saying all of that is to say, I know a lot of people are like, the pig is, gross and it's an unclean animal, and that is true. But there's also this thing of getting dirty and us also wanting to be so clean within the spiritual and conscious communities. And this message is for you all, because I see a lot of folks within the spiritual or conscious communities so focused on detoxing, so focused on cleaning the inside of the body, detox. And that is important, but you also must understand that we are supposed to go through cycles, and we are also supposed to embrace the dark side, the dirtiness, the toxins, because that triggers an operational flow where you have the wherewithal to combat those things. And combating those things, it actually makes the system it makes things overall stronger and better. I'm thinking of exercise for this purpose. When you exercise, you're ripping and tearing up your muscles. And that triggers the body to repair those rips and tears that you put into your muscles. And what happens as a result? Your muscles are bigger and they're stronger, right? There is something good that comes out of ripping and tearing your muscles. Same thing goes when my spirit team kind of forced me out of my spiritual pride and my spiritual perfectionism of, oh my God, I'm not going to eat that pork. I'm not going to be unclean, forcing me out of this dogmatic state of being, because that's actually stagnation when you always want to be clean. We do not exist in a clean realm or a clean environment. I mean, horse shit is organic. It ain't shit clean about horse shit. Excuse my language. I'm just keeping it real. I just remember my spirit team just telling me, you so damn spiritually perfect. And right now in your life, you are so damn miserable too. I'm sorry, my spirit team is pretty gangster with me. That's just how they are, especially when I'm in my own way. And I'm giving this message because I think a lot of us are in our own way by trying to be spiritually perfect. There is no such thing. We have to allow space for imperfection. Let me say that again. Allow space for imperfection, please. Because when you don't allow that space for imperfection, it does lead to stagnation. And stagnation is the true death. You don't like that word either, right? But that's truly what it is. So let's get out of our own ways and embrace the unclean beast in us, because we also are brilliant. We also have a genius within us, right? Humans are capable of such genius and brilliant work due to the imagination. That's what separates us from the animals. But we have to embrace that dark side, because if you don't embrace your shadow or your dark side wants to come up. It comes up to come out. It does not come up and rear its head for you to just stuff it back in. Because when you stuff it back in, trust and believe, it's going to control you in one way or the other. It does not want to be repressed. It wants to be expressed. And that's exactly what we need to do. I'm thinking of Jesus and Lucifer. We all know these two entities are actually the same, or they're the same coin, different side of the same coin, let's say. Go back to Revelations 21:16, when Jesus said out of his own mouth that he is the morning star. We know who the morning star is. I'm mentioning this duo not to just trigger anyone, especially folks who are into religious doctrine, because I respect everyone. I'm not here to be offensive, but they are the same entity, and that's symbolic. Lucifer represents the ego, and Jesus represents the enlightenment part, right? And we're supposed to embrace both of them. Now, when it comes to the ego, we don't want the ego to take control or to be in the driver's seat. We need the ego to either be in the passenger seat or in the back. But we still need the ego, because the ego is like the cheerleader. It's the one that's going to help you if you want to start that new business, if you want to chase your dreams. That's going to be the entity that's going to cheerlead you, like, yeah, you got this. You're the best one in the room. You better go for it. Angelic energy does not do that, because it does not care about the ego. It's all about righteousness. See, this is why we have to have a balance of both. This is why you can't detox all the time. You can't be clean all the time. Being clean all the time is actually stripping yourself of your necessary nutrients. You're not getting exactly what you need. And absolutely, I just posted a post. Listen, when you leave, if you leave a seed inside of a pretty glass box that's sterile, yeah, that seed might remain very pretty. It is not going to grow. You only grow when you're planted in the soil. And the soil is nothing but decomposed matter, which is dirty. We have to embrace the dark side, the dirty, the toxins, in order to grow.